Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakadash, the one is the Apostle GMS. Salutations to you, I can push this word with truth and sincerely. Today I'm going to topic, basically, I'm gonna name it, when you pray, you must believe. You know, when you're praying, you can't be doubting. You know, when you pray, you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith that, the Lord is hearing your prayer, you know? That your prayer is gonna be answered. But this is Mark 11 and 24. It says, "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when you pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." You know, when you're praying to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, you gotta believe. You know, you gotta believe that you're gonna receive that. That you're gonna receive what you're praying for. You know, because then it said, and ye shall have them. You know, sometimes your prayer gets answered right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. You know, but the Lord, that didn't mean that the Lord didn't hear your prayer. You know, He heard your prayer. You know, you just gotta be patient. Now this is James 1 and 6. This is James 1 and 6. "But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord." You know, it says, James, did I read the right? Yeah, James 1 and 6, Salakia. "But let him ask in faith, not wavering. For he wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed." You know, you can't be wavering. You know, you gotta have faith. When you're praying to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, you can't be thinking, "Oh, did he hear my prayer?" Or "He probably not gonna hear my prayer." Or basically, wavering, you doubting. You know, you must have faith that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is gonna hear your prayer, man. Gonna get Matthew's. This Matthew's 21. Slack it. 21 and 22. It says, "And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer." Slack it. "And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive." You see? It says all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing. You gotta believe. You know, that's the most important thing. You have to believe. You know? You gotta know that, I'm praying for this. I'm praying to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and I know He's gonna hear my prayer. You know? Lord willing, to be speedily. It takes, sometimes it's quick, man. Like I say, sometimes it's very quick. And sometimes you just gotta have patience, you know? That's what a lot of these people in the world don't have, is they don't have that patience. That's why they go for the fastest way, man. Even if it involves doing wickedness. But some people are like that, man. They be like, "Oh, I can't be praying to the Lord because I need it now," you know? And ultimately, they don't have faith. They don't have faith and they don't believe, you know. But us understanding and being in this truth, we know that faith is the number one key in this truth, you know. And it's not something that you could just, have, because, the Lord gives you faith. That's another thing, man. You praying to the Lord for more faith. Hey, go do that, man. But the Lord is going to test you, You must know that too, that the Lord will try you, because the Lord tries his servants. He'll test you. He'll be like, all right, you want more faith? Just watch this. In whatever situation you get into it, the Lord, and you get out of this situation, you're going to increase in your faith, man. Because you asked for it. But this is, I'm going to get Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 and 6. It says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. But without faith it's impossible to please him, You praying to the Lord, you have to have faith. If you're doubting and you don't believe, and the Lord's not going to hear. As a matter of fact, he's not even going to hear your prayer at all, man, because you're doubting. No, the Lord wants you to pray to him, but 100% be in your mind that, oh yeah, I believe the Lord's going to hear my prayer. I believe he's going to hear it and I'm going to receive what I'm asking. You got to be in that mindset. You can't be doubting. The Lord doesn't like that. It says, for he that cometh to God must believe that he is. You see? So he that cometh to God must believe that he is. You got to believe. And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And also the Lord is rewarded that diligently seek him, man. As us being in the truth and doing the labor, we know this is for nothing, we're hoping to be a part of the elect, but we know that, hey, at the end, there's going to be a big reward for those servants that stood so stiffly, believing and having faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That we are going to be rewarded for our labor. That's another thing. Us believing in that, man. We're having faith in that. Because we know that this is coming off the scriptures. And the Lord has said that, hey, his words are faithful and true. We know that the Lord is not a man that he should lie. So we're believing, man. We're trusting in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Because this is what the scriptures says. And a lot of people in the world, they don't have that. That's why it's a blessing to know the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It's a blessing to know this truth. It's a blessing to be a part of, the brotherhood, man. And call on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But when you believe in what you're asking for, you must know that the Lord is going to hear you pray, and you must believe, That's all I want to go into. Hopefully this video was edifying. Give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Akdash, the one that's the Apostle GMS. And salutations to you. I can push this word with truth and sincerely. Till next time, Shalom.